In this video, we'll talk through how to upload your quiz files into Blackboard to create quizzes, or as they're called in Blackboard, tests. And so the way that we recommend doing this is to create each quiz step by step, one by one, following the structure that fits for how you have structured your topics. And so typically we'll see one quiz created per topic in blended teaching, although you can use that same QTI tool to create, for example, midterm exams or end of term exams. And really, you can create as many of these as you need for different purposes. But today, what we'll do is we'll focus on creating individual quizzes for those topics. And so for this, let's start by taking a look at a typical blended teaching class book. And here we'll just use the standard library class book for principles of real estate. And so what I have here is a class book with a set of topics that start out with Introduction to Real Estate Principles. And you can see here we don't have a quiz, so I won't build a quiz specific to this. Where I will start, however, is with Principles of Real Estate Law. So we've got a test here, a quiz, Principles of Real Estate Law. If I now navigate to the QTI tool, I can very easily create a quiz based on what I need in there, which is these two modules, legal aspects and ownership limitations. So we're going to select legal aspects of real estate and then ownership limitations. Click Generate QTI, and in a couple of seconds, my QTI file is ready, and I'll have that feedback document as well. For this section here, we're just going to need that zip quiz file, and what I'm going to do is build this test in my course page in Blackboard. So I've started by navigating to the course that I want to build this quiz in, and now I want to scroll down on the left-hand side to find this section here in Packages and Utilities called Import Package View Logs. So if I now click on this, what I can do is select this option here, this button, Import Package. And with that, the next step for me is to upload that zip file that I've just created. There we are. Select All is the option I need for Select Course Materials. And now I click Submit. It'll just take a couple of seconds for this to complete. And in a moment, I will have a brand new quiz that has been created that contains all of the quiz questions for those two real estate law modules. And so all I need to do here is go to Assessments, and you can see that I've got a brand new quiz. Now, if I click on this, it's going to show me a preview. It'll show what students will see when you've published the quiz. So instead, what I'm going to do is go back, click this drop down here, and I've got two options that I want to think about: edit the test and edit the test options. Let's start with edit the test. Now here, it's going to show you the full set of questions. And now the first thing you might want to do here is remove any questions that you don't want to use. So you'll have 10 per module. That may be too many, or it may be that something just isn't quite a fit for what you're wanting students to be assessed on. You can also edit individual questions here as well. And so you can tweak the text, you can tweak the answers. And so you've got full control here over that and how many points students will get for answering each one of these questions correctly. You can also create and add your own additional questions into this bank as well. And so once you're happy with all of that, great. You've just got one final thing to do, which is to edit the quiz itself. And so here, what I want to do is edit the options for that quiz. And so if I click Modify Options here, first thing I would recommend doing before you create additional quizzes is to name this quiz, name this test, because you will at least currently always see the name being pulled in as a standard blended learning quiz. So if you do these all in one go, you could have 10 quizzes called blended learning quiz. You'll have to go in and check the questions for each one to determine which is the quiz that you're looking for. And so right now we're going to change this to the name of this particular topic. And so we're going to call it Principles of, it would help if I could spell principles, bear with me. Principles of Real Estate Law Quiz. Now I've got my title. I can add a description if I'd like to. I can control when and how students will see this quiz, how many attempts they'll have. I can even control which students are able to see this as well. And so that full set of functionalities for quizzing and testing within Blackboard will be available to you. Once you're happy with everything, click Submit, and your quiz is now ready to go. And so the next thing that I'll do is move on to the next of these quizzes. And so now that I have this here, I can actually move this around and structure it how I want to within the rest of my class, just as I would be able to with any other assessment or quiz. And so really, it's just a case of going through this process step by step. And so the next quiz that I'll want to create is for Intro to Real Estate Economics. And so here I've got two of the modules that I need this for, Introduction to Markets and Real Estate Economics. So I go back to the QTI tool, I select Introduction to Markets, and finally Real Estate Economics. Create that new QTI file, and then it's as simple as following that process again. Import package, upload that new quiz file. Now that that's in there, I select all of those content areas, click Submit, and then once again, if I go to Assessments, I'll see the new blended learning quiz. And the first thing that I'm going to do for clarity is edit the name, changing it from blended learning quiz to Real Estate Economics quiz. And there we have it. Now I have that same ability to control all of those questions, all of those options for the quiz, to design it exactly for my needs. And really, it's a question of just going through each one of those to build out your set of quizzes. And of course, if you wanted to create that, let's say, midterm or end of term exam, you'll be able to select as many modules as you need to create those more extensive quizzes that cover a larger number of topics. And there we have it, how to add your quizzes into Blackboard.